last time on the episode, you guys got to the planet. The captain decided to send a shuttle um, towards the planet to investigate. The planet kind of attacked you. Um, the chief of security managed to get the shuttle back to the Caliban, and the shuttle was hit um, by something that was spreading on a shuttle. You managed to hit it with an EMP wave, and everything shut down. But the your chief of security got infected, and you guys managed to find a solution to stop the spread of infection, and you put the chief of security in some sort of stasis. And that's where we start off today. So, what do you guys want to do?
Well, I guess I'm still asleep.
Yes, you're still asleep at this point, but like you will wake up soon
Yeah.
because you were only knocked out, so you should be fine.
And I'm right outside the quarantine thing that you're in right now.
I want to get a sample of, and I don't know if this is going to be possible or not. I want to get a sample of the nanites, what I'm calling nanites, whether they're nanites or not, um, that are, for lack of a better term, infecting Harper.
We already have some. We got it from the bed from me and Peter.
Well, I would like to get some active ones, um, and put them in some type of containment field or something like that.
You should be able to do it. Um, I would say that if you make like um, a sampling tube that is protected from the EMP, because right now Harper is like in a stasis, and around him there's like small bursts of EMP just for the virus to, or for the nanobots to not multiply and exit the field, basically. And yeah, so I would say that that wouldn't be hard, so there's no point in you rolling for it. So I would say you have it and you manage to put it in a force field container.
Yeah, and I'm not sure I have enough engineering to actually figure out what they are. So I will, once I get them, I will give them to Celine.
I mean, you can still do your you can still scan them and see if you can figure out anything.
Okay, I'll go ahead and try.
Okay, then give me I would say a reason medicine, and I'll say difficulty 1.
Do I have a focus that applies to this?
Uh, Let me see what focuses you have. Uh, I would say that you have a focus. To how much you can learn here, I would say you have a focus. So,
All right, that's the wrong one. That's insight medicine again. I thought I
uh,
clicked it. Didn't.
yeah, then your reason, but your reason score is the same. So the it should be the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, I see that now. They're the same. All right.
Um, so what you discover, Doctor, is they are some sort of nanobots. They are more like microbots. They are a bit bigger, but it seems that they are very um, versatile. And when you put like an organic sample with the bots, just like to see like what's the medical thing, what happens, because you can definitely not figure out the nanobots because like that's more like of an engineering thing. Um, you definitely see that they are controlling more the organic matter than actually like assimilated like the Borg do it. So that's the thing that you noticed. Is like it's trying to control and adjust the organic matter to a certain objective. But since the sample is too small, you cannot figure out exactly what's the objective. And comparing with what happened with Harper, you definitely see that the intent is not to assimilate or replace the organic matter. It's more to control it. Because right now with Harper, he's like those nanobots went to all the major organs in his system and they are basically not assimilating or not replacing them, but it's like at the point of like if the nanobots want to stop the heart, they will be able to stop the heart. And it's the same thing if they want to increase the pulse or something like that, they can still do that. But it doesn't seem to interfere with the actual organic job of the heart.
Okay. So they're interrupting the signals.
You're breaking up.
Uh, sorry. Um, interrupt
You're still breaking up. I cannot understand what you're saying.
interrupting the signals from Harper's brainstem. Is that any better?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Um, so they're interrupting the signals from his brainstem and co-opting uh, the organ for their own purposes. They're sending their own signals to directly to the organ, right?
It's not that it's actually interrupting. It's more to the point of like they are controlling the input and output of the organ, but they are. It seems that they are not actually interfering.
Okay. Um, since I already have a sample, I will go ahead and transfer that to engineering once I
So
figure
to
out what it's doing with the organic.
to make an analogy to this and to make like a visual kind of thing is like imagine a police officer in an intersection. It's like the intersection run on its own, but the police officer can always go inside and like change the traffic flow. And basically the nanobots, that's they are the police guy. They are not interfering, but they can definitely interfere if they want.
Okay.
So what did you say you're gonna do with the sample?
Um, I will call somebody from engineering to come and get it so they can somebody in engineering or even Celine can study it.
Then call somebody.
Um, Dr. Zenit to engineering.
And hold on,
Should
hold on.
be at this point.
This is Ronnie. What can I help you with, doctor?
Um, I have a sample of the microbots that are infecting Harper and apparently infiltrated the ship, the runabout as well. Does anybody in engineering want to study them? I think I've gone as far as I can go with them.
Isn't it our chief engineer in your med bay, doctor?
He's somewhere around here, I guess. Um, I don't know if that's if tiny robots are part of his specialty or not.
He's the chief of engineering. You should ask him, doctor.
Okay. Um, and I'll tap the comms off and go doctors in it to uh, Celine. See, I don't even know if he's actually able to hear us anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he can hear us. Then yeah, since he's not around, I would say that Ronnie would say that he's gonna come and pick up the sample.
All right.
So Ronnie comes into medbay and picks up the sample and moves it to engineering. At this point, Raiba, you're gonna start coming around. And one of the feel things that you definitely kind of feel is that your implant is offline.
I'll just sit up and start rubbing my head and looking around the room.
Yeah, you feel a bit dizzy, but you're still like you're starting like everything to come back to you, and you remember that you're in this quarantine room, and you start remembering everything. It's a bit fuzzy, but you have an idea where you are, why are you there, and kind of what happened. The only thing that you cannot recall is the last couple of seconds before you passed away.
Okay. Would I know that he was awake?
Set up, so if you're looking, you probably see me.
I mean, at this point, Doctor, no, he's like in the room trying to recover. So I'm giving him a chance to, if he wants to do anything. Otherwise, a medical officer would see it and then announce you, Doctor.
Okay.
So do you want to do anything, Reba, or you're just gonna wake up and?
I'm not sure what I can do. I'm just going to sit around and wait for somebody to let me out.
Yeah. So at this point, you woke up. You you are a bit fuzzy, but it seems that you're recovering. And one of the things that you definitely feel is that your implant is like, if you put your hand on it, it's there, but you don't feel it there. Like normally it's like in a standby mode and you can activate it and you always know that he's there. Right now it seems that it's shut down basically. Okay, so I guess you're gonna get up and look around the room.
Also,
Yeah, at the point you see like the door opening and a medical officer looks at you and says, Lieutenant Commander, are you alright?
I think so. I got a huge headache and still feeling a bit shaky, but could be worse. What's the situation with the infections?
And you see the medical officer takes his tricorder out and starts scanning you and says, I don't know exactly, Lieutenant Commander. They just took Commander Harper out from his room, and the doctor is he's taking care of him. I don't know exactly what's the situation.
I'm back. So I went to Juvenile Socialist.
I see. Okay. Am I free to go?
Uh, I and you see him like very confused, and then he closes his tricorder and taps the communication badge. Doctor Zinet,
Here. What do you need?
Lieutenant Commander Raiba is awake, and I scanned him, and it everything seems to be all right.
He can return to his quarters. He is not cleared for duty as of yet. Want to make sure there's not any after effects or anything. Uh, um,
Uh,
day, at least a day of rest before he can get back.
it. I'm not the chief medical
Duty.
officer, sir, but wouldn't it be better if we get him to medbay to make like a deep scan? We had problems of not detecting those things before.
Uh, he was clear after the MP pulse, but Sure, bring him to med bay and bring him to sick bay proper, and we'll get a scan done and then send him on his way. Hopefully.
Roger that, Doctor. And he taps the comm badge. Lieutenant Commander, I guess you heard all that, so if you would don't mind, could you follow me to medbay?
Right then.
And as soon as she gets out of the room, he gets a hug from me. Caliban, you're awake.
Yeah, I'm fine. How are things going out here?
Good.
Now, if you don't mind me, Lieutenant, um, Lieutenant Commander Sadine, could you follow us as well to the medbay? And you see the doctor. It's like he's holding a certain distance away from you guys.
I follow him.
Right, but I guess you follow.
Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, let's see. I would say Raiba, Saline, and a med guy comes to medbay. Doctor, you see the medical officer coming in and says, Doctor, I got Lieutenant Commander Raiba and Lieutenant Commander Saline to the med bay.
Okay, why did you bring Lieutenant Commander Selene?
And you see like kind of an embarrassment on the medical officer face, and he says they hugged, sir.
Okay, we'll scan him just to be sure.
And then you see like awkwardly nods and then like moves to medbay and finds something to do.
All right.
So I guess I will
let's
take.
get ready for the ends and
Yeah, I'll take Harper here and I'll put him here for now.
um. uh, I motion to the surgical bed, surgical bay. Whoever wants to, and not even really say anything, just kind of motion and look at both of them.
I'll just point towards it and say, should I?
Whoever wants to go first, we're going to scan both of you just to make sure.
Very well.
Give me I would say insight medicine difficulty 1.
And when I last signal, last thing what we're talking about was the bots, and if it had anything to do with like any specialty or something. And I kind of do because I have metallurgy.
Yeah, since you weren't here, the doctor sent the sample to to engineering. So Dr. Raiba seems to be fine. It doesn't seem that he's infected anymore. The only weird thing is that his implant is offline. It's like it's like he has an implant. Like it's like as you take it from the box, basically.
Um, Mr. Raba, do you know your implant is off?
Yeah, I suspect it was damaged, and the he pauses for a moment. Curing process.
Uh, did it seem to be damaged in the scan?
I don't think it was.
It doesn't look like it's damaged, at least
Uh,
from what you can tell.
as far as I can tell, it doesn't look like it's damaged. It's just offline. Um, so, um,
I took an EMP while being on, and given how much it hurts, probably there's some lasting damage in there somewhere.
all right. You are.
Doctor, one thing that you don't see any damage. Like, it's very weird because it should have been like that implant connects to his brain, and it looks like the connections seem to be the same as they were when you last time did the scan. It's just the thing is offline.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any brain damage or damage to the implant, Mr. Rabbit. It just seems to be off.
It's possible that the EMP destroyed the battery. Or get rid of the charge in the battery.
Yeah, but then the doctor would still. Yeah. So this is what you say in character, Sainin?
Yes.
Yeah, doctor. You're not an engineer, but if a battery gets destroyed, it should have like on your scans everything looks fine.
Everything looks fine. It just looks like needs to be turned back on, and I'm not sure um, how that how you would turn it back on. It's almost like it got turned off
Give
completely off.
me give me an insight medicine difficulty 0. And this would be like you would have like a basic of the idea of like how those are. Okay, so you generated 2 momentum, and with that, doctor, you kind of it's not your specialty, but since you have surgery, you would definitely know that when you put like a cybernetic implant to somebody, like it's offline, and you just attach it, you connect it, and then you turn it on. At this point, from what you can see, it seems that somebody um implanted the thing, but it they didn't turn it on. And the weird part is that you need to operate somebody to turn it on and off, because the switch for on and off, it's like under the skin.
Okay, and there's no um, it ah, um, and there's no scar tissue or anything like there was an operation or anything. It's just off,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's like somebody installed that into him but never turned it on, and it's been there for I don't know how many years Rival has it. So the skin healed and things like that, but it definitely looks like, yeah, the basic picture that you can tell right now, it definitely looks like somebody installed it and never turned it on.
It just looks like it was never turned on, Mr. Iba. And I know that's not right because um, it has been on, so it was somehow turned off, and it doesn't. It's not damaged. It's just not on.
And Rybot, since you have the implant and you would like know information about your own implant, is like if you throw like a EMP wave over your implant, it it should have at least short circuit. You know, something like that. At least something like that. Like your best guess was that it might explode or something like that, have like a small explosion, or like small, like something would be wrong with it. Not that like that's kind of really weird.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, Doctor. I'll have to investigate this later when the current crisis is finished.
Yeah, I would recommend that. As far as I'm concerned, you just need maybe a shift off duty. You're perfectly healthy. You seem to be a little fatigued still, but other than that, I think after another good night's sleep, you'll be ready to go.
Yeah.
Could I have something for the headache?
Sure. I will give him a painkiller for the a light painkiller for the headache.
Control medicine difficulty 1. Uh, you don't have a focus for that, so that would be 2 successes. So you generate 1 momentum because it would be using a hypospray. So and
Oh, okay.
yeah, and it's not emergency medicine or surgery or something like that. Yeah. So the doctor gives you something, and you already feel like the headache is subsiding.
No, that's better. Thank you, Doc.
Um, I kind of look behind me at my medical staff, and then I grin a little bit, and I go, "Okay, Mr. Ryba, you can return to your quarters. Uh, Mr. Um, what is it? So, is it Salea? Is your Celine is your first name, not your surname, correct?
Yes.
And it's Salea.
We didn't
Is
hear
it a
you.
hard
Soleil.
C? Salea. Okay, Mr. Salea, if you will submit to the scan, hop up
Yep,
on the
and
bed.
I need to go.
And I guess you don't
And
have access to roll 20, so I'll move your token to the bed.
I'm back on the computer.
Okay. Doctor, give me a control medicine. They're gonna be difficulty 1. And you generated 2. Yeah, you generated actually 3 momentum. Because you. Oh, no, no, no. 2. No, you have xenobiology. Yep. So you have 2 momentum floating. Yeah, so the engineer looks perfectly fine.
uh, I kind of chuckle to myself, and I go, Mr. Salea, you are cleared for duty. Um, and I tap my comm badge and say, Dr. Zenit to the captain.
Hi, Doctor.
Um, Mr. Harper is in guarded but stable condition. He is going to be out for some time, more than likely. Um, his and I at this point you kind of he pauses. This is actually a pause in what Zenit's saying. Um, he is not. He's not completely infected. His brain is fighting it, and we've found a way to help him continue to fight the nanites. But he is, in, for lack of a better term, an induced coma, some kind of stasis at this point. Lieutenant Commander Ryba and Lieutenant Commander Celia is are both cleared. I'm sorry, Lieutenant Commander Celia is cleared for duty. He's not infected. There's no injuries or anything. Lieutenant Commander Ryba, I recommended continued bed rest for one shift, and then he will be cleared for duty.
Why was Sela a concern?
Well,
You heal the combat because I hugged Viba. I'm still standing. I haven't left the medbay yet.
Anyone on the bridge would see my antenna twitch. And why did you break protocol for medical quarantines?
It was after he was out of the quarantine and they were taking him to the scan to get scanned.
As I said, why did you break protocol for quarantines? You're not supposed to touch until they are fully cleared. Just because they exit the room does not mean they are cleared.
I was happy to see my friend awake. And I didn't.
That is not an excuse for breaking quarantine, Commander.
And they kind of forgot about the protocol at the time.
Not to cause offense or anything, Captain. Maybe over the comms is not the time to discuss that. While he's standing in my med bay still, my sick bay still, and I kind of look over at him and kind of raise my eyebrows at him. He has been cleared for duty, so he's more than ready to be able to come see you in person, sir. And I end the Dr. Zenit out and end the link on my end. Oh, great. Now everybody's mad.
I'm still laughing.
Well, if that's all, I'll just head to my quarters.
I mean, I guess at this point, right, but you didn't even hear that conversation because you were already out of medbay.
Yeah.
If you didn't linger around, but I guess you just went out.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Yeah, so at this point you're like you got to your quarters and you don't have a headache or anything.
That's good.
the only weird thing is that you don't like feel your implant, and that's weird because
Yeah,
you would,
sure.
yeah, like you would always feel that.
I then make my way up to the bridge to see the captain.
Oh, so you're gonna go to the bridge without being summoned from the captain?
I mean, I kind of was.
That's the difference between the engineer that I have on my ship and you. So what next, Captain? And Doctor, I guess you're gonna look for the notes, and later on, if you want, you can try to scan uh, Commander Harper and maybe get like a better idea of what's going on after engineering gives you a report on the nanopods.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on. All right. Yeah, that's. I'll be in my office looking over the notes, doing my paperwork that I'm supposed to be doing.
So, Captain,
Well, let's see here. I'm on the bridge, and while all that was going on, where they were being led to get scanned and everything, I would have been on the bridge after visiting Harper. And as soon as I got on the bridge, I would have asked the sensors officer to keep an eye on that planet, launch a probe if he had to, just so that we keep sight of what exactly they were doing. And then I probably would have actually tried to contact one of the Maxians.
so well, how would you want to contact them? Because there's no actual established protocol like Federation. Like in Federation, you would have like an established protocol of contacting somebody. Like here, you would just need to send a message out in space, basically.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the wording right in my head and how I would address it and everything like that. All right, so basically, I would look towards the commissar or ops officer, prepare to send a message of the following. This is Captain Aslan of the U.S.S. Caliban. We have encountered an odd occurrence in your sector. I'm not sure if you're aware of the exact things going on. At this coordinates, and I will give the coordinates of the planet, there is what seems to be a possible fight for dominance on the planet between something. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. However, I was investigating, and the planet in question launched an attack against my small craft. And dealing with a slight issue with nanites of some kind.
Rick, that would be you who's gonna manage the communications.
All right, the message sent. Or do I need to roll
No,
something for it?
no, you just so after pressing send the message, you get like a computer confirmation that the message was sent out. It definitely seems that nobody instantly answered to it.
I would have also pointed out to make sure to send it towards the uh, wherever their capital for this section was, or try to send it towards the nearest ship if we have them on sensors.
I mean, if I'm right, the only thing that you have from this sector is a space station that you asked for, because you were heading that way when you stopped at this planet.
True, but I'm not sure if they were technically owned by Maxians or not. But if that's the only point of contact, so to speak, that we have, then yeah, we probably would have sent it there.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely, that station was definitely Maxian. Like, it's in Maxian space, and you were definitely, yeah, you definitely received the, like, when you talk with them, they definitely told you that that's Maxian.
Well, then, yeah, we would have sent it there just to make sure that it got to a Maxian that might be able to pass it up the chain of command, so to speak.
Yep, so you send the signal, you don't get an immediate answer.
And I will draw my fingers a little bit on the console, kind of glance around at the officers on the bridge. Well, anybody got any cards?
And at that point, I walk in.
Yeah, exactly. That point, Saline walks in.
Captain, I figured you would want to speak to me about what happened earlier.
We're still on the sick bay.
No, I left.
No,
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 I'm
no.
saying that the background showing for me is still in sick bay.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, my bad.
So yeah, as soon as I see CeeLo walking onto the bridge, I'll kind of glance towards him. Ready room now.
I immediately make my way to the ready room.
Did you give the con to anybody?
Well, I'm just a quick step off the bridge. If anything happens, I can just step right back onto it.
All right.
And plus, I think Vicky then would be and would have con.
Well, there are no other senior officers on the bridge other than Ricky, and yeah, I mean it's just a simple thing. He's got command of the bridge at the moment, but yeah, if there were other senior officers on the bridge, I would have given it to them while I stepped off. But yeah, as soon as I walk in, I sit down in my chair. I point Sela to a seat.
I sit down.
Commander, why exactly did you break protocol for quarantine? Besides the fact that you were happy to see a friend standing up.
Kind of forgot about it in that moment.
You kind of broke up there. What did you say?
I kind of forgot about that in the moment.
You are a senior officer and the chief engineer. You cannot afford mistakes like that.
Yeah, I know.
That response causes my antenna to twitch. You know, yet you made that error in judgment anyway.
I figured I'd pop into that after the fact.
All I really heard of that last thing was after the fact.
I kind of figured that out. I kind of figured that I popped into that after I did that.
Commander, I already have one personnel of the senior staff currently indisposed because of this. I thought that would be obvious not to touch somebody until they were fully cleared. Or did the fact that Commander Harper is still sitting down there on a bed in cryo, in medically induced coma, fail to cross your mind at the point that Ryba stepped out of that room?
That.
It failed to cross your mind?
Yep.
I don't see how it could, considering you were standing right next to his room.
In the moment, I forgot.
That's not a valid excuse, Commander.
I know, and I'm ready to take any punishment you deem worthy.
Fortunately for you, I cannot afford to do much at this moment. I need my senior officers. I need a chief of engineering. Right now, that's you. Get down to engineering.
I make my way down to engineering.
And I walk back out onto the bridge.
So I guess I enjoyed that scene. I'm sorry.
Oh, really? Why did you enjoy it?
So out of character, you got me. I'm like, well, shit, I probably should have done that.
Sadine, I guess you go to engineering.
Yeah.
So, Raiba, um, you are in your room
Hmm.
and you have no headache and everything seems to be fine. Are you gonna take the day rest or are you gonna do anything else?
Um, I'll bring up like just the general status of the ship on my screen in my room, but mostly rest. Just make sure nothing's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, from what you can see, is like everything runs normally, considering the situation, and that the engineering team um, brought the runabout back to the ship, and they are working on it, and yeah, they are focusing more on the pod, but otherwise, there seems to be no infection and no infection alert.
Yeah, I'll just write my report for what happened and have some rest, I guess.
So, Saline, I guess you go to engineering.
Yeah.
And you see Ronnie working on something on this. So you
I think
enter.
you put down the wrong. Um, I don't think Copper's supposed to be here.
Yeah, there you go. So you see Ronnie working on something on the console.
I think you've used the wrong token because it shows Ricky on my screen.
Yeah, it's the wrong token. You have Ricky out.
Oh yeah, hold on.
You need to size me down though. I walk over to where Vicky is. So now look, Ronnie is. So, what you working on? So, what are you working on, Ronnie?
On the sample that the doctor gave us with the nanobots things.
Can I have a sample so I can start working on it myself?
It's it's the same sample, Lieutenant Commander. It's like you can work on the same sample with me.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Ronnie moves on this side, and I guess you take the other side of the console.
Yep. And I start working on the sample with them.
So give me. So what do you want to do exactly?
What exactly was it that the doctor wanted to know about the nanites again?
Like scan the probes and see what's with them, basically.
Yeah, just like whatever the doctor needed to help Hopper.
Okay, give me a control. No, an insight. Yeah, an insight engineering. Difficulty 2. And if you pass difficulty 3, I'll give you more information.
Spend one momentum for an extra dice.
Okay.
I don't have a focus, correct?
Let me see. Mm, yes, you have a focus.
Before that complication.
Do you wanna crush it? That's gonna cost you 2 momentum, or you give me 2
I
focus.
do want it because I spend one momentum and I have cautious.
Oh, okay, then re-roll that 0.
Any help from Vicky?
Yeah, I would say
Hi,
he would.
Bonnie.
Yeah, I would say that Ronnie would help you. So somebody roll Ronnie, or should I do it?
Are you counting
Well,
the
well, it's
computers
what
as a
we're gonna give
focus?
them.
No.
So computers has no focus.
Nope. Not in this case.
Uh, do,
Yeah.
let's give them. We could give them nano.
You cannot give him anything because he's assisting. Um. Yep.
He's act. Does this count activation?
What was that?
Does this count as an activation or no?
It it counts as a it counts as an assist.
Yeah, I know that I'm saying because whenever you activate an support character, you can give them something.
No.
What are you talking about?
So I thought that whenever you activate a support, whenever you activate a support character once per session, you can give them something like a
R-
We're
focus.
not activating. We're just. He's an NPC right now.
yeah, Ronnie is a named
Okay,
NPC.
I don't know if that's considered activation or not. That's what I was wondering.
No.
It counts as an activation if another character is playing that character.
Okay,
Ronnie's already a named NPC. Um. Yeah. So Ronnie helps you, and you determined that those are some sort of. They are not nanobots because they are too big to be nanobots, but they are not microbots because they are too small to be microbots. So it's something in between. And it seems that they are programmed to do something. And with the information that you got from the doctor, you see that they are um, communicating between each other and they have a purpose. But you can, like, at this point, that's the best you can do. And it seems that they are very vulnerable, that you already learned, to EMP waves.
yeah. Can I try and figure out what that purpose is?
What you can tell, it's basically what they are doing is trying to control things. But it's very hard to understand what's the purpose of it.
So wait, could I try and re-engineer these things?
You didn't actually manage to get like a proper schematic of those to actually re-engineer those. But you know about like nanobots, and from your point of view, like nanobots are better than those because they are way smaller and they can work at the molecular level. Those actually work at the kind of a cellular level.
So these are macrobots, not nanobots.
Yeah, macrobots. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, macrobots. Yeah, you're right.
I want to try and reprogram these so we could try and help Papa.
You need to hack them first.
I guess I try and hack them.
Give me control science. Difficulty. Do you? I would say difficulty 3, and increase the complication range by 1. So it will be complication range 2.
spend an extra momentum.
You spend 1 momentum for an extra die.
Do I have focus?
If you have computers, yes. And yes, you have computers, so you have focus. So control science, difficulty 3. You have a focus, and the complication range it's increased by 1. Nice. Surprisingly nice.
If I didn't rearrange my things, I would have gotten it. But I put some extra points in. Took 1 point from science, 1 point from plant, and put it into security.
You did what now?
You can do with a milestone.
What did you do with your milestone? Hold on. I'm confused.
So one of the things that you can decrease one ability by 1, increase another one by 1. So I did that twice. I spent 2 milestones. One, I decreased the science and increased security. The other one I decreased command and increased security.
Did you guys had? Isn't that like a spotlight?
So that's something you can do with the normal milestone. You decrease one discipline and increase another one.
Yeah, I think spotlight is you could add a number.
I'm not adding, I'm just rearranging it. I still have the same total now, it's just arranged differently.
Kval, is that right? You can use a normal one for that?
Alright, the normal uses of a milestone, if a challenge was challenged and crossed out, you can rewrite it. You can choose 2 disciplines and shift a point from one to another. You can choose a focus and replace it, or you can select a supporting character used and do one of the above options. The spotlight, you get to do it with attributes. Shift a point from one attribute to another.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that's why I was confused. Yeah, so spotlights allows you to do attributes and normal ones disciplines. Okay.
Yeah, spotlights are attributes, talents, and normals are the focus and disciplines.
Okay. Yep. Uh.
The arc is you
Because
just add one.
yeah, so that way I'm not as useless in combat.
Yep. So you got that. You understood that about them, and yeah, that's what you got from it. And now you try to hack it. So you managed to hack them, but you don't actually understand what's going on. Like you hacked the system, you managed to find a way inside the mind of them, but you definitely don't understand, like the software is very complex.
I send that over to Viber.
So you're copying all that and send it to Raiba?
Yes, the information I learned, I send it over to Viber
So let me understand this
so
right.
he can decode it.
So let me understand right. You're copying the software of one of the bots and send it to Riba?
Yes. But I'm making it. I'm gonna put a thing around it so it can't access the rest of the ship.
It's like if you gonna send it through, you're gonna basically email it to Riba.
I'll copy it to a data pad that's not connected to the ship, and then have one of my engineers send it over to Viva. Like to Viva.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I guess Riba. Yeah. So you give the data pad to one of the engineers. One of the engineers takes it and goes to Riba.
Well, in my quarters off duty.
Yeah, you're in your quarters off duty. Anything else that you want to do, Sailing? Oh, by the way, Sailing, give me a control science, difficulty free again.
With the same complication and everything else.
No, 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 just normal. No complications. No. Yeah, so normal. And you also have a focus again.
Yeah, I'm gonna spend one momentum.
Okay. Are you gonna do something with that?
What is this for?
That is for to see if you detect, basically, to see if you detect something. So what are you gonna do with that complication? Keep it or crush it?
I will keep it because I don't want to put us down to one momentum.
So you're gonna keep it?
Yes, because I don't want to.
I mean,
I don't want to put us down to one momentum.
Oh, come on, do it, please. Don't
Fine, I crush it.
complication.
I wouldn't crush it before finding out exactly what the complication is.
Yeah.
Saying
I mean,
that's
the
the way
thing
it's supposed
is,
to go.
the thing is that I would have told you what is it about, but because you didn't succeed at a task, you will not detect what's going on. That's the thing.
Should I
So
crush it or should I just keep it then? Just crush it?
so you have two options. Either way you crush it, either way you keep it. To crush it, you will spend 2 tokens. Either way momentum, either way you give me threat, it's all up to you.
Okay, I'll just give you two threat then.
No, not threat.
Fine, I spent two momentum.
So 2 momentum?
Yeah.
Don't give him more, man. Not with that roll.
Okay. I guess this is like. Do you want to do anything else?
I just send a message to whoever saying, if you would you please decode that so we can figure out more about these bots or whatever.
Raiba, you received that message, but nobody came with the data pad to you yet. So you just received that message.
How was it worded exactly?
I think it was something like see if you decode that software or something like that.
Yes.
Okay. He'll just look at it and raise his eyebrows a bit.
Someone should be someone should be sending you
Saline?
something shortly.
Saline, you already sent the message.
Okay, well, this will wake me up. So now I'm gonna go to my replicator and grab some kind of tea, sit down at my desk, and start going through my messages.
Yeah, you definitely don't find anything that it's related with what the chief of engineering said. And you kind of keep on searching, and at the point somebody rings the door on your room.
Come in.
And your doors open and you see an engineering guy, an ensign with a data pad. It says, Lieutenant Commander, the chief of engineering sent you this data pad.
I see. Okay. Did you mention what it was?
It he just told me to give it to you.
Okay.
And it seems that it's not connected to the rest of the ship.
But, right then. Well, even though I'm off duty, I'll have a quick look at it. Please remind engineering that since I'm off duty, they can direct things to science.
I will, Commander. Sorry for disturbing you.
No, it's all right.
Am I excused?
Yes, you may go.
Have a good rest, Lieutenant Commander.
Thank you.
And he turns around and awkwardly goes out.
So he back down at his desk with the data pad and turns it on and sees what is there, I suppose.
Yep. Give me. So you want to see, like, what that ensign brought you, right?
Like, what is this? I don't know. It's just a data pad.
Yeah. So I guess you're gonna go through the data pad, right? You're not gonna connect it to anything yet. Cause I
just want to know what it is.
Yeah.
Turn it
Okay.
on and
So
see what's in the contents or whatever.
so basically, you turn it on, and I'll give you what you see without rolling.
Okay.
You and then you tell me what you wanna do with it. You see a big line of code basically, and it's a very like from the first glance, it seems very complex. Now, if you want to scan to see if you understand more, you can you can roll for it. I'm just seeing what you see when you when you look at the tablet. Since you're the science officer and you have computers as a focus, I would say that you recognize directly that that's a code, and it's a complex one.
So it's a file on the datapad. It's not like taking over the datapad or anything.
At
Like,
this
there's
point,
a file, and I open it up and have a look.
Yes, at this point, when you turn it off, you see like there's a software there, and it seems that it's running. You like if you want more information, you can scan for it, but that's the first thing that you see. You
Right,
can
okay,
you
yeah,
can
I
roll
mean,
for it. Sorry, that's
sure.
what I'm saying. It's like you can roll for it to see if you understand anything as a person.
Hmm.
So give me a control, no, an insight or no, give me a reason, science, and make it
Okay,
a difficulty 1. Because right now you're trying to make sense and understand what it is.
right.
You look through the data pad and you realize that this is a very complex software. And you realize that it's running. Exactly what's doing, it's very hard to understand, but you definitely see that it's starting to use the memory of the pad.
You forgot your computer expertise there.
You mean the extra d20?
Oh, yeah. So roll me one more die. That's what the computer expertise does, right? You can.
Yeah, it adds a bonus
Yeah.
d20.
Nice. You got 2 momentum. And with that roll, I would say that you are definitely noticing that it's trying to access the tablet possibility. Like,
And I can definitely see that it's not Starfleet.
yeah, it's
Typical code.
the thing is with this code is that it's very very complex, and you don't understand what it does because of the complexity, but
Yeah,
you
but it's in a language that I don't understand, presumably.
yeah, something like that, something like usually computer language should be kind of universally, but yeah, this is something really complex that you don't understand, and but you definitely tell that the memory allocation of the program is increasing, and you see like uh, some of the like for example like the wireless, somebody's trying to access the wireless and understand how the wireless works and things like that, because you kind of see, to give you like a stupid explanation, is like you see the wireless going on and off on the thing, and he's trying to connect to the ship. You definitely see like the display is like changing, um, like luminosity and things like that. Like, since you have expertise with computers and things like that, you would think like that's the program doing things.
Okay, I'm gonna tap my com badge. I'm gonna call my second in command in science, Lieutenant Streck. Can you come to my quarters?
Is there a problem, Lieutenant Commander?
Yeah, just be quick about it. Could you bring signal blocking uh, container?
I will bring a signal blocking container. I hope you are referring to a jammer, Lieutenant Commander.
Yeah, that'll do. Standard issue for something that may be emitting signals that we want to block.
I will bring my tricorder with me, Lieutenant Commander. I'm already moving towards your quarters.
Okay. See you in a minute.
Yeah, and do you want to do anything else with it?
I mean, out of character, I'm sort of imagining those envelopes that you get that block signals for phones and stuff. You know, like
Yeah,
metal ones.
I don't know, out of character, I don't know if you got the hint that I was trying to put out, but you would basically be able to block the system with your tricorder. Especially like since you know like all the system on the ship. basically. So you could at least block.
Yeah, I'm not taking risks in this case.
Yep.
Well, you could use a tricorder.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like you could use a tricorder to make it as a jamming uh, equipment.
Potentially,
Yeah.
but it
So
seems easier just to contain it, to be honest.
yeah, he will come with a jamming container box.
Small Faraday cage.
Yeah, something towards those
Basically,
lines.
yeah.
Yeah. So do you want to do anything else? It's gonna take him a couple of minutes to get there, because he needs to get the cage and then come to you.
I guess I'll contact Celia.
Then start contacting him.
Lieutenant Commander, what is this data pad that you've sent up to me?
That's what I wanted you to kind of decode. It's from the nanobots.
Ah, you don't say.
I couldn't understand. So you were probably the best person on the ship to understand it with your implant.
Well, given the fact that the implant's not working at the moment and off duty, it seems like an odd choice. However, I'm
It
going to
also
get it.
gives you some. It also gives you something to do while you're waiting to be cleared and returned back to active duty.
Well, I still think this poses a significant threat to the ship. So I'm going to get this transferred to the secure lab in the science department. I'd suggest any work that's done on similar things with these nanite technologies are done in a similar setting.
Yeah.
And then he'll just.
The samples over with the team of engineers.
Sorry?
I'll send the samples over to the team of engineers then.
Right. Okay. He'll just hang up and contact the captain. Arriba to Captain Cavell.
Go ahead.
I have a bit of a potential situation with the alien code on a data pad.
The what?
The code from the nanites that we've been having issues with. It's on a data pad, and I'm having it transferred to a secure lab in science. I just wanted your permission to head down there, despite being off duty.
Anybody on the bridge would see my antenna twitching a whole lot. How did it get on a data pad?
I can't be 100% sure, sir, but it was sent up from engineering. I can only guess they were trying to figure out what it does.
So somebody put it onto a data pad.
It would seem that way, or it managed to do it itself. I'm not.
How did it come into your possession?
It was delivered by engineering ensign to my door, despite being off duty.
Secure it as quickly as you can, Ryba.
That's
But
the plan.
you're to report back to your quarters off duty as per the doctor's orders.
Very well.
Make sure it's secure first.
Yes, sir.
And try to make sure that it doesn't pose a danger to the ship, please.
Yeah, that's my primary concern. I'll keep you updated.
Please do.
And he hangs up and waits for Strike to arrive.
Captain,
Yeah.
there's a small power fluctuations in the engines. I'm not sure what is causing it.
British engineering.
And the power fluctuation is gone, Rick?
It's gone. Strange.
Yes.
Would someone down there care to explain how a data pad with programming that is starting to apparently take over it, at least that's what Ryba gave the impression of, managed to get to him?
I didn't think it was actually active.
Also, what's going on with our engines?
No idea.
Saline, give me an insight engineering if you want to check.
Difficulty.
I mean, you're at the right console to check that. You generated 2 momentum. Saline, you see that the engines are okay.
I can't detect any problems.
Well, we detected problems up here. There was a power fluctuation.
And when you... Okay, continue. Captain, you can continue. Sorry for interrupting you.
I forgot what I was going to say, so go ahead.
Okay, Saline, you look through the logs, and there was a power fluctuation to the engines, but that's not very uncommon, because you only see one, and that's not very uncommon. But yeah,
Captain, the fluctuation I'm seeing isn't very uncommon. If looking back at the logs.
Well, Commander, you're engineering, and I want you to look into exactly why there was a power fluctuation, because that is your domain. There should not be any. And if there are, you should be the one telling me about it.
Yep, and immediately look into that.
And also, no more anybody down there putting that code on anything. Understood?
Yep.
and
And I'll hit the button to cut comms.
and when the captain cuts comes, Ronnie looks at Saline and says, like, Commander, we did kind of use this console to work with the nanites, and this is our main console. Saline, that's what Ronnie told you.
Yeah, I know. Well, let's make sure it's not going on. things going on. And I look over and I look into this problem.
I guess you are looking for a virus or something that's not supposed to be there.
Kind of.
Give me a control. No, yeah, I would say control science, and that would be a difficulty 2. No, actually a difficulty 3.
Well, I get an extra die because I know my ship, and I'm trying to locate the source of a technical problem.
Uh, yeah, you don't need to justify why you buy an extra die. So you roll me 3 dices. Control
Insight.
science.
What was it?
No, control science difficulty 3.
Focus or no?
I would say you have a focus because you have computers. And can somebody roll me Ronnie because he's gonna help?
I didn't spend the momentum, so we're still at.
What?
We were at 5, now we're at 4. No, nothing spent.
He got a bonus die. He didn't have to pay for it.
Yes, it's a bonus die from one of my talents.
What talent?
I know my ship. Whenever I'm trying to source, find the technical problem, I get an extra die.
Okay.
What is Ronnie rolling?
What was that, Rick?
I'm asking what is Ronnie rolling to assist?
The same thing. Control science, 1 die.
Meter focus supply?
Yes. Yep. So, Sadine, you definitely detect that something slipped through for this console. What exactly, you don't know. But you definitely see, like, there was um, a, a file or a program of something that was transferred from this console to another console. And that console is if you're looking for it, you can definitely tell that it's the Lieutenant Rybus console. And it seems that that went through when you send the message to Lieutenant Commander Ryba.
Is it on this console too or no?
It doesn't seem to be on this console. It seems that it got transferred with the message.
Is Viber? Is a telecom badge to Lieutenant Commander Viber.
Right over here.
So it looks like when I send you that message, not the code, but just to give you a heads up, it looks like it's got sent. The code got sent with it. Something got sent with it.
What?
The code somehow, the code got sent. Something got sent to your console when I sent you the message, giving you a heads up that I sent you something to work on something.
You're telling the captain about this, not me.
Yeah, then tell the captain it.
Right, but basically what he's saying that the code is on your console.
Yeah, I get that.
Or at least that is like where he saw that the code went.
Captain?
Captain.
So when I sent him a message and it got to give him a heads up that I sent him something. And when I did that, the code got sent with it. It piggybacked on my message.
Ricky, you're on the bridge, so you would see Kamal just kind of lower his head, put his face in his hands, and his antenna twitching madly. Commander, are you telling me that you somehow let this programming loose on the ship?
By accident. Yes.
Red alert! Lock down the bridge, lock down the main computer, make sure it cannot get in there.
Ship goes on red alert, and the doors in the computer room are closing.
Has Streck arrived with the thing yet? 'Cause if not, I'm going to just run straight to science.
I mean, are you gonna check your console?
I mean, there's nothing I can do. I'm going to ask engineering to cut power to the room, essentially. But more urgently, I'm going to rush to the science lab, the computer science lab.
By the way, I forgot if I told you guys. Did I told you last time which color of ball hit you?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, it was the blue one.
You didn't even say that the bulbs watercolor. You just said that metallic bulbs were flying at us.
Okay, let's say like this. After all this, you realize, like in the report, and after watching all the data and everything, you realize. I mean, you would see that the ball came from the blue side, basically, because they're like both of them. That's why you had to fight two balls, because both of them were firing at you at the same time, and the blue one hit you, like the one that was firing from the blue side. I forgot to mention that. I mean, it doesn't really matter because you don't have any information on the both sides. But I'm just saying, because for me it matters. Yeah. So the ship is red alert, and everybody sees that there's a red alert. So, Raiba, do you want to do anything on your console, or you want to start
No,
heading to science?
I want basically to cut the power to the room.
I mean, you just need to ask the computer, and the computer is gonna do it.
Well, okay, it turns itself off essentially. Fine. But yeah, I'll do that and quickly rush to the science lab.
Okay. Um. Does anyone want to do anything?
I'm just going to my room and just locking myself in there.
Okay.
Your room or engineering?
No, I'm just going to switch the con to manual just in case.
So I don't
Switch what, Rick?
mess anything up further.
The con.
Yeah, what you gonna do? What with it?
I would like you to switch it to manual just in case.
Okay. You switch it to manual. But that means it will lock you at that console. Because you need to manage it.
Dr. Zenit to the bridge.
Go ahead, Doctor.
Do I need to prepare for casualties?
Maybe one. Sorry, Doctor. Apparently, the programming in those nanobots, microbots, whatever you want to call them, got loose on the ship.
So, Captain, just get a message for me that says I'm locking myself in my room so that nothing else can happen. If I don't mess anything up further.
Doctor, I'll have to get back to you. And I'll cut that comm.
Sure.
Captain DeSila, get your ass back to engineering now. Captain out.
Okay, go back.
And you get. This is Ronnie to the captain.
Go ahead.
Captain, is there a reason why we are at red alert? Because I don't seem to see anything on scanners or anything.
Ronnie, were you there when the chief engineer was telling me that somehow he let loose the programming in those bots?
I kind of point that out towards him, Captain. So I was there.
Yeah, that's the reason for red alert. Until we get that contained and secured and make sure that that program is not running on this ship, we're at red alert.
That makes sense, Captain.
Of course it does. Captain out.
Before you even press the button, you hear him saying "raw," and then it cuts off. So, what's everyone want to do?
Nothing. Just sit back, make sure nothing bad happens.
So, Saline, did you come back to engineering?
Yes, I'm just not touching anything. Just standing there, just making sure nothing bad's happening.
So as soon as you get to engineering, Ronnie tells you, Lieutenant Commander, we are at red alert because I think you might have left the virus out.
Yeah, I know. Why do you think I was bugging? I'm not touching anything anymore until we get this thing settled out.
Shouldn't we start touching things to make sure that the virus doesn't take over
You
the
can.
ship?
I'm not. Because I've been the one who. Because I caused this.
Okay, Lieutenant Commander. And Ronnie starts working on the ship. Now, somebody give me insight engineering with Ronnie, and the difficulty is 3 for him, and I want to see if he has any focus that might apply.
He does have a computer's
Yes.
focus.
I would say, yeah, but at this point it doesn't work like that. He has power systems, and I would say that that would apply as a focus.
Anyone
He's
else?
got power systems.
Yeah. Anyone else, please do that. I think at this point we have established that Aaron Jesus hates me.
What was that?
Yeah, he wants somebody else to roll because he thinks the RNG hates him.
Ah, okay. Well, you said what's the difficulty? 3?
I'll
Yep.
let you go.
All right. I'm gonna buy 2 dice.
With
Momentum.
that complication though. What are you gonna do with it?
I'm debating just leaving it, but that would require me knowing exactly what that complication would be.
Yeah, I would tell you that since he didn't succeed at a task, he would not detect anything. And the complication would be that some of the ship, like while he's searching, he will deactivate some of the ship system while he's searching.
If he's
But briefly. Like basically it's gonna be more than an annoyance than anything else. I would take it as a RP complication. I would do it as an RP complication.
Well, I mean, this is Ronnie. Leave it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna punish you because you already screwed up enough. So
Yeah, why do you think I'm just like, yeah, no.
so what I'm saying that on the bridge, Ricky and the captain, like everybody on the ship, they are starting to say like that thing went off and now it's back on. Then Ricky sees like one of the engines, one of the thrusters went off, now it's back on. And like on the bridge for the next 5 to 10 minutes, like somebody saying that something went offline and then is back up online.
Captain's engineering.
This is Ronnie. Or no, hold on. You ask again. Sailing is on the bridge, so Ronnie wouldn't have responded to that.
Yes.
Seal is in engineering, but yeah. Captain to engineering.
Yes. Captain?
What the hell is going on?
I have no idea.
You're the chief engineer. Why don't you have an idea?
Because I was the one who did it. Right now, Ronnie's doing. I think it must have been Ronnie or someone. Because I'm not touching anything. Because I've already caused so many problems.
Commander, you are the chief engineer. Do your job and fix this problem. Captain out.
I'm going to go over to Ronnie. Like, what did you do?
Ronnie looks at you as like, I'm checking the ship systems, Lieutenant Commander. I'm checking if the virus is anywhere. and I'm cutting the power between like two sections, so I kind of isolate one section, I scan it, and then I move to another section by cutting the power between two sections. It's like, and he starts like explaining what he's doing.
Next time, give a heads up before you start cutting systems off, power systems off.
Um, Odds or even.
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 Ronnie tops his communication badge. Ronnie to the bridge.
Go ahead.
Captain, I'm sorry, but I forgot to announce that I'm doing like a ship-wide sweep, trying to scan if we have a virus. So I'm shutting power, and he starts like mumble jumbling a lot of like engineering facts on what he's doing for the past 1 minute and a half.
And if Ricky is paying attention to me, my antennae are still twitching. Ronnie,
Yes, Captain.
thank you for the heads up. Belatedly. Just fix the ship.
Working on it, Captain. And he hangs up. Uh, Raiba, do you want to do anything?
Yes, I'm in the computer core
Yeah,
section of the science lab.
at this point, after getting in a turbo lift, and when you got to the destination, the power turned off on the turbo lift, and then it powered immediately back on, and the doors open. There, there was nothing else.
He'll just curse and trill and continue to the science lab. Once he gets there, he's going to try to secure the main computer.
Yep. So what do you want to exactly? Um, you wanna secure the main computer how?
Well, part of it is creating like a series of subroutines that like detect intrusion, like earlier than you would expect usually.
Uh, you have the normal firewall,
Yes.
and if you wanna, you can check if the firewall was breached or poked or whatever, because you would be able to detect that.
Yeah, sure. I'm hoping that's not the case.
Okay, give me a control engineering, and I would say that's a difficulty 1 because it wouldn't be hard for you to do that. What's
Apparently,
wrong
it's
with
harder than I thought.
what's wrong with your guys' rolls?
One moment.
Keep it or crush it.
Oh, is this assisted by the ship?
Uh, I would allow the ship to assist on computers.
Oh, I'll also roll a bonus d20 for computer expertise.
And that's your computer expertise.
Yeah.
And I want the ship.
Computers what?
Hold on, let me see which one was it for computers.
Engineering, I guess.
Yeah, it's computer engineering's or computer science in this case, because you're using the science thing.
Yeah, okay.
So you got one momentum.
But I think I'll use 2 to crush the complication.
So the only thing, hold on. So I didn't give you one, so there you go. So the only thing that you noticed is that some like an unauthorized person, entity, or something tried to access the main computer, but it's basically like when you try to access the main computer, it requires like a password or an authorization. Basically, who tried to access it, they never put like they didn't even try to put an authorization code in.
So basically, whatever accessed it, try to brute force it.
Nope, nobody tried to brute force it. Basically, it's like somebody knocked at the door and the computer said, "Who is it?" And that person didn't reply and didn't knock at the door anymore.
They moved the mouse but didn't get past the lock screen.
Something like that, yeah.
Can I do a scan of the, like a general scan of the computer systems of the ship and see if they're all working properly?
Yes. What exactly are you looking for?
Well, I can't immediately detect which areas are infected, but I could look to see if there's any unusual behavior or systems are down that aren't supposed to be, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, give me insight or reason science and make it a difficulty 1. Or I would even say a difficulty 0 for what you're looking for. So you got 2 momentum and you definitely see that everything is running right.
Okay, satisfied that things are okay for the moment in terms of the core computer. I'll tell Strek to keep an eye on things and head to the bridge.
So you're gonna head up to the bridge?
Yep.
Let's move to the bridge. Put your token on the table. By the point Ryba gets to the bridge, there's no more power fluctuations.
I'll sit down at my console. Captain, everything seems secure for the moment in terms of the main computer.
At that, I'll kind of glance up and look over at him. Aren't you supposed to be off duty?
You did say I had to make sure things were secure, sir, and this is kind of an emergency.
Unfortunately.
Plus, I did get a lot of rest when I was unconscious.
How are you feeling, Ryba?
Oh, I'm feeling fine, sir. Although I was given a medication for my headache, so
Try not to overdo it. But you say we're secure, computer core and everything?
yeah, it would seem so. Something tried to access it, but was stopped by the authentication subroutines.
All right, now we just need to isolate it and get rid of it or find some way to look right at you.
Uh,
Is what?
no, I just want to tell Ryba that that could have been anyone on the ship saying something towards the point like computer access the mainframe, and or like the computer core, and the computer would say like authorization code, and that guy would be like, yeah, forget it. So it can be something like that. It can be even somebody misclicking on the ship, or it can be a virus trying to access it. So that's the thing.
Sure.
But yeah, I'll look towards Ryba. Is there any way that you could try to isolate this programming or virus or anything into a computer that would allow us to communicate with it? See what it wants, figure out what's going on with it, anything like that.
Well, it is tricky, sir, as we can't really study it without it, taking control, so to speak. Attempts to communicate with it in the past haven't really been fruitful at all.
Just to clarify, you meant the thing on the tablet, right?
Well, just in general, any of these.
Oh, it was the general thing.
Yeah. We could allow it access to the language banks, I suppose, if we put them on a separate system, and then maybe it can find a way to communicate with us.
Do it. If you have to, put it on a computer that's not connected to anything else, doesn't even have access to anything else. Put the language banks on it. Find a way to isolate that virus that's running rampant through the ship into that computer. And then see what happens. As long as it's set up to where you can hit it with EMP or shut it down in some way and wipe it.
Rabbi, I just want to point out that there's no proof that there's actually a virus on your ship. Like
Well, we're working under the assumption that's the case.
yeah. So I'm just saying, like to you as to your character specifically. I'm just saying that there's no evidence that there's a virus on the ship. If you guys want to treat it as you
well,
have
the
one,
symptoms.
like the only system, the only two symptoms that you kind of have was like the power fluctuation in one of the engines, and the fact that somebody tried to access the core and didn't give an authorization, so nobody brute force in or something like that.
Remember, I did tell him that the code got on his console.
Yep. So yeah. Okay. I would say that would be the only evidence.
Okay, I'll give a sigh and head back to Science Lab again to set up all the stuff that the captain mentioned.
And before he fully makes it off the bridge, you can assign it to somebody else if you want to. I mean, you are the chief science officer, Ryba.
Yes, sir. I'll get Strick on it, but I'll supervise the setup. And you'll dash out the door.
Captain to sickbay.
Yes, Captain?
How's our chief of security? Anything going on down there that I should know about?
Luke, is there anything he should know about?
At this point, you're still waiting for the report from engineering about the virus or the nanobots, because they might have found something, but they never send you a report.
Still waiting on a report from engineering on the nanobots, sir. But Luke, have there been any power fluctuations down here? I did say in the chat that I was going to check and make sure the containment unit and Harper were okay.
Yeah, the thing is that the power fluctuations were so brief all around the ship that it didn't actually affect like what happened to Harper. Because Harper is, like, as you said, like in an induced coma, and he has some sort of like EMP like shield around him. It has like some EMP emitters that are so weak that it will not destroy all the bots, but it will destroy a part of the bots. So they keep on multiplying, but they just died.
Okay. No change, Captain.
Understood. Captain out.
So are you guys gonna do anything else?
Well, I'm going to set up the separate computer with the language banks and an EMP, like the captain asked for. Takes a while to set up, but yeah.
It shouldn't be very hard for you because you already have a setup like that. You just need to copy it because you
Well,
already
the language
have.
banks are fairly extensive, so copying them would take a while, I imagine. But,
Yeah, but like making the separate computer, you already have the same thing with the brain.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
once that's all set up, we'll get the original data pad and connect it to that console, and just let it do what it wants to do, basically.
yeah, I would say that would take you um that would take you around like half an hour to set up, because copying all that wouldn't be that hard. It will be just time consuming, and set it up like a console like that. You already like the engineering team already has the experience, so it shouldn't be very hard to do it.
Mhm.
And you know that your setup works because you kind of have your brain, and the brain never managed to access anything else. And by the way, you still have a brain that works on that computer. It's been there for 2 weeks or something like that, but not more.
Oh yeah, the Axians insist on taking that.
Yeah, the brain that you had before using the telepathic thing.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have that brain with that setup already, so you're just copying it without putting the brain there.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I get to work making the report about what we said, about what we found about the nanobots as of right now, and send it off to the doctor.
And okay, so I guess you send the report. Doctor, I guess that you received that report like 3 minutes after the captain ended the communication. And basically,
Sorry, you can finish.
so basically, doctor, what you see in that report is basically all the tests and things like that. Those are microbots, and they don't seem to assimilate like the Borg or something. They just seem to control things, and they have a software inside, and it seems that the nanobots communicate between each other.
With the
Okay.
messaging, sorry, it took so long. Part of the programming got out onto the ship.
So basically, you have the chief of engineer thinks that the program might have got on the ship, and the only thing that it's like they discovered more that they are macrobots, and they can do basically what nanobots can do, but to a cellular level. So it might be um, because they are so big, they are not able to like take over a cell, but they are still using the fact that they are small to like control. That's a theory that you can like think about. But without knowing the program, like or what they were programmed to do it, you don't actually know anything else more. You can study on animals if you want.
No. Um, I kind of feel like the Vulcans do on that. That's
or
not
or you can test it on other organic things like plants and things like that if you really want to test it on something.
well. We did put organic matter in with it, and it did exactly what you said. So you're not really giving me any until we figure out the computer code. We've not got anything new, truthfully.
Yeah, that's true. It's like the I was thinking doing that just to see what's the bigger picture, but that's again, it might have a risk as well. So like the best thing that you might do is like wait to see what's going on with like what engineering finds out or science finds out about the software, or you can take like a drastic measure and try to test it on other life forms. Because like the organic matter that you put in had no function. You just put some organic matter there.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think we're going to be. I'm going to be running any more tests on the sample until this is fixed. Just putting that out there.
Okay. Uh, Riba, you set up all that. Now, how are you gonna transfer the software?
Um,
Because until now you had it in a box.
well, you mean the data pad?
Yeah, the data pad. You had
I
it
mean,
in a box.
you can plug a data pad into things, can't you? I think you can.
Yeah, but you need to take it out of the box.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
So that's what I'm asking. Because you didn't keep tabs on what the software was doing. And nobody said that they will physically remove the wireless antenna from the thing.
I don't know if that's how data pads work, but I guess.
I thought he said that he put in a FedEx or something so it couldn't access anything else, just sitting there.
Yeah, basically you gave him a file with a datapad that had the wireless deactivated, right? It's like basically you put the datapad in flight mode or something. So it still
No,
has the component that will connect to the ship, right?
what I meant by this character meaning it can't access anything on the ship, even if there's no Wi-Fi emitter on it. I probably should clarify that a bit better, but it's fine. But I thought Robert said he was going to put like a FedEx cage or something.
Yeah, it's in a box at the moment. I don't know whether or not I can feed the cable into the box and plug it in without having to worry about signals getting through a small gap. I'm not really sure.
Give me a control engineering. And that's difficulty I would say 2.
Can I still use my computer's focus?
Nope. Because this one would be like, how fast can you make that switch? Can you connect?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, can you connect the pad without like giving it access to outside world? Because I would definitely say that at this point, the pad might or not or might not have access already to the antenna. But basically, if you open the box and connect the cable and then close the box, you.
Okay, I'll spend 2 momentum. Sorry, 3 momentum for 2 dice then.
Okay.
Jesus.
Um, let's say odds or even.
Even.
Yep. So you connect the data pad to the computer, and like almost instantly as you connect it, you see the computer going crazy. And you see that everything is starting to not work properly. And then out of the sudden, everything, like, I would say that would be like 10-15 minutes. In 10-15 minutes, the computer is acting crazy. After that, the computer just stops acting crazy.
Okay, I'll just keep observing.
Yep, the computer seems to be fine now. Do you want to try access the
I'm
computer?
gonna.
Press some buttons, maybe?
Sorry.
I'm saying that, do you want to try to press some buttons on the computer?
Yeah,
Try
so
to like.
I guess I'll wear a not a hazmat suit, but yeah, basically a hazmat suit,
Yeah, rubber
just in
gloves,
case.
maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll try typing into the command line, like hello or that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't get a response, but the system seems to be working. Um, and if you look for the computer, you definitely see like an increase on memory used, but
Mhm.
nothing like, you definitely see the program there, but at this point it's not doing anything. It seems that it's running in the background, but with not a specific like purpose that you can see.
I'll give it like a basic maths problem to solve. Like, I'll just put like a basic maths problem and then see if it answers it.
I
This is
mean,
basic for like Starfleet level, so
yeah. Um, I don't like, if you have a calculator as a software in that computer, that calculator would do the math.
it's not so much using a specific piece of software. It's just putting it into the command line or
Yeah,
something
it's
similar and seeing,
if the
basically
base.
try to coax the thing to see if it can actually interact with what I'm doing.
Yeah, basically it doesn't do anything if the actual console wasn't designed to do from the
Right.
beginning. I guess, do you want to investigate the software or what exactly the software did?
Yeah, sure.
Um, Give me a control engineer. No, a control science. You have a focus in computers, and it will be a difficulty 2. But if you get more successes, I will give you more information.
Was that control science?
Yes, control science. Or you can go with insight science.
That's the same. Can I use my determination here?
For a difficulty 2? I mean, you can use it.
Yeah, I think it's important. And we've only got one.
I mean, you have technical
momentum.
or that expertise that gives you 1 extra die. So you have 2 plus
Yeah, I
that
guess you're right. I
1.
probably don't need to.
Yeah.
But I may as well if I.
And also, I'm just saying that you never tried to use your implant.
Well, that's not working at the moment.
I
And
mean,
if I
thing
want
is,
to activate it, I'd have to actually like manually activate it since I can't do it through my head.
I mean, like your brain is used to working with that device, right? And involuntarily, your brain would want to use the device. So if you tell me when when you think like your brain would involuntarily try to use the device, something might happen.
I mean, it's like whenever I'm using a computer, I'm using it. So I would have definitely tried
Okay,
to use
give
it
me.
by now.
Okay, then give me a control medicine and make it a difficulty 1. So, out of reflex and out of like the normal routine of the day, you try to activate, like you're trying to use your implant. You feel like you're communicating with the implant, but the implant doesn't work. It's like your brain, like if you don't try to use it, you feel that it's missing. But when you try to use it, it's there, but it doesn't connect to the ship. And
So when you say try to use it, it's like I can't access it, or
I would give you something like a visual idea. It's like you have a computer in front of you. You see it that it's in front of you, but if you press the keyboard and the mouse, the screens are still black and you still cannot type anything on the computer. And the reason is because the computer is shut down.
right?
And and now that you like realize that, you're starting to remember like that you knew that the EMP was coming and you knew that that can blow your mind and you tried to shut down the implant. Like you focused your mind on shutting down the implant. Exactly if it worked or not, you don't remember.
Right. Um. So did I pass the task for the code?
Okay, so you're just gonna not do anything
Well, I'm
with
not
it.
sure what I can do with the
I
implant
mean,
right now.
I gave you 2 hints about it, Raiba. One hint that you remember shutting it, like, or trying to shut it down. And second one, I told you, like, you have your computer in front of you. And you see it's powered off. What do you normally do?
Well, you already said I can't turn it on.
I didn't say anything about you not be able to turn it on. You didn't even say that you want to try to turn it on. It's like basically you turn it off with your mind.
Oh, right.
Kick it in the pants.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll focus on it and try and turn it on then.
Give me a control medicine. Difficulty, I would say difficulty 2. And yeah, difficulty 2.
I'll use the last momentum.
So you're focusing on turning the implant back on. And
Yep.
your mind, like when you try to use it, your mind sees it there and you're kind of reaching towards the implant, and out of a sudden the implant starts working. And it, like, before you would feel like the implant being in standby mode, and when you activate it, it connects to the ship. Now you felt like the implant was off, and now it connected to the ship. Like it powered on and connected to the ship instantly.
Right. I'll run a diagnostic on, like, internal diagnostic on the implant.
Uh, Basically the implant. Give me a control science difficulty 0 with a focus on computers. Um, you you see that the implant works, and you see that everything works fine. The only thing that you noticed that there's no more standby mode. So it seems that your computer is connected to the computer, to the, like, ship right now. And usually whenever you would try not to use the implant would go in standby mode. But now it seems
Yeah.
that it's always connected.
Right. Like, can I still choose what to connect to?
Yeah, it seems that it works fine, but it's always on.
Right. Okay.
So at this point right now is like with your, like, how the outside of game, like how the mechanic worked. It was like you had the option to choose if you connected to the ship or not. Basically, at this point, your is always connected to the ship if you don't do anything else.
Right. Okay.
So do you want to try something with your implant, or you're gonna continue your thing with a computer? Or
Well,
with
this
the
is all
virus?
happening while I'm trying to figure out the code on the computer.
Yeah. It's basically, it's like a something towards like a 5-second thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to still be doing the looking into the code. I'm not going to be actively using the implant for that, but
Yeah, at this point, I would say that the implant would be automatically used, but not in this case because you cannot connect to this specific computer because this is outside of the network.
Mhm.
Yeah. So give me a control. No, an inside or a reason science, and that is a difficulty 2.
Focus.
Yes, of course, computers.
I'll buy 1 die with momentum.
Okay. And you should get the bonus one. Or you're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the bonus one for technical. Do you want to spend 2 momentum? I mean, you already saw the roll, so there's no point.
Yeah, I may as well.
Okay, so you also generated 2 momentum. So right now, like you're like trying to see what the virus did, and basically the virus connected to all the software that the computer has. It basically put like a root to every software and everything like on the computer, and that was it. It doesn't seem to be running except to the point of like monitoring everything, but it doesn't seem to be processing anything or something like it. It looks like it's a background software running right now, but it used a lot of data to do that. And I would say another thing that you noticed is the fact that the the virus is kind of split in different parts. Like for example, like the software that puts image on your screen, it has his own version of the virus, and then all the other ones, like they're small versions of a virus, and it seems that it's monitoring that separate, that special part, but it doesn't seem to communicate between each other at this point. It's like nothing shows that they are communicating with each other. So just to make it a bit easier, I'm gonna make like a drawing of it. Let me move you here, and let's say something like, I would say like those are like different softwares, right? This is the memory, and this would be like the connections, like with the processor and the memory and things like that. And basically the virus, you have like a certain amount of virus that attached like here. If that makes sense.
So it's just monitoring.
Yes, it's monitoring, but at the same time it's like attached to that program, to that software. But it's like different version. Like those 3 are 3 different viruses. Or like 3 different version of that virus. It doesn't seem to be like a one virus that is controlling all of them. And if you didn't like specifically know to look for it, you might would have think that that is part of the program. Or if the program wasn't like, if you didn't know the program.
I'm gonna make like a new folder essentially, and like just quickly create a really basic program and see if it moves to that one.
Yeah, soon as you create, soon as you're starting to create the program, when you finished it, you see like the because like right now I guess you're monitoring the computer, and you see that the processing power increases, and the same thing happened to your program, like something attached to it.
And then I delete the program.
It deletes with the thing attached to. Because when you told the computer to delete the program, the computer thought that that thing, that piece of code was part of the program. And one other thing, I don't know if I already, but I think I already said it. Like each individual program, it's tailored to the software that it's attached to. That's why there's different version of it.
Yeah.
You want to do anything more with it?
Mm, for now, I'll just monitor it, I guess.
Do you still have the tablet connected?
Yeah, it's still in there.
Do you want to access the tablet for this computer?
You mean you don't mean for this computer? You mean access the pad?
Yeah, access the pad through the computer. Because right now the
Oh.
computer is connected to the pad. And you only.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that.
Yeah, so right now you only manage to like right now you only like look at the computer. So,
Right, okay.
okay, do you want to look at the pad as well through the computer?
Sure.
Because you
If
could
that's
do that
possible,
without
yeah.
opening the box, basically.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Give me a control. No, I would say an insight or a control science. It will be a difficulty 3, and you have a focus on it.
I'll buy 2 die with momentum.
Okay. Uh, you want to re-roll one of those zeros?
Yeah.
Because you have cautious, right?
I don't have cautious, but I have
Oh, technical expertise, yeah.
No, no.
What it's what do you have that allows you to roll?
Oh no, yeah, it is technical expertise. You're right, but that's only if it's assisted by the ship.
Oh, then it doesn't work. So you only get 3 success because you're on this computer that it's like out of the network.
Yeah.
So at this point, I said the difficulty 3, right? So you pass the difficulty. Um, you manage to get inside the tablet and you start looking for it, and you see the same thing, except that it's active on the wireless antenna. And the wireless antenna software is searching for a connection, which it shouldn't have been, because when you got the pad, that one was like the software was like deactivated. But now it's on and it's searching for a connection, and that software is like actively monitoring everything.
Uh, can I remotely reboot the pad?
You want to do what?
Like reboot the pad.
Yeah, the pad turns off and then starts back on, and it's like all the software are starting like to power on, and it seems that the programs are powering on with the software because it's kind of part of the software. Um, and everything powers back on. Then the all the software goes like into like normal idle mode, except the same thing with the wireless. It's on and it's actively trying to search for a network, and the software that it's attached to, the original, like, yeah, it's basically working.
Okay, well, I'm going to just stop and let it do its thing and see if there's any changes for a while.
Yeah, nothing. Everything else is like idling. The only thing that where you see that the program is actually like actively monitoring it, it's that thing. So you're gonna do anything with that, or you're just gonna leave it there?
Yeah, I'll just leave it for now. Um, and bring my findings to the captain, I suppose, or send them in a report.
You can do. You can
But there's
go
not too
talk.
much to say, really.
Yeah, you can go talk with him, or you just send him a report.
No, I'll just send in a report.
Yeah. So basically, Captain, everything that I heard, you receive in a report.
Which I'm probably reading the report as quickly as I can while I'm sitting on the bridge. Captain to Rybo.
Right here, Captain.
See if there's a way that you can remove it.
Well,
Like,
I'm assuming wiping it will remove it, but it won't do as much good if it's in critical systems.
exactly. I want you to see if there's a way to isolate the different sections that are part of this larger whole and delete them from each and every single one.
Well, it
Basically,
seems as if it attaches to the program itself.
basically, what I think what Captain is trying to say to surgically remove them.
Yeah, pretty much. Surgically remove just the sections that are attached to the program. Not the program itself, not everything else, just that little section that is attached to every single part of the program.
Yeah,
Or every single, the different sections.
basically on my drawing, what Captain is saying is like cut this part off.
Yeah, but you made it sound as if that it's sort of integrated, so they wouldn't really be able to be removed very easily.
Yeah, that's it is possible, but it's gonna be hard. But it is possible because you have the original program. It's like you know the code line of the original program, and then just remove what's the excess.
Well,
Honestly, I think it would be easier to do it that way than to completely delete and wipe our entire databanks and computers and reload from backups that we may not have.
yeah, I would agree. I just didn't think it was possible. Yeah, I could give it a try.
Uh, since you know what you're looking, it's gonna be a control science difficulty to create a program that will remove that, or to actually remove it yourself. Um, yeah, give me a control science, a difficulty 2, and I will explain what happens.
I'm having trouble opening my character sheet for some reason.
Try to re-roll the Roll20 page.
Oh, okay. So control engineering.
No, give me control science, because you're doing
okay,
like a
that's
software thing. You're not doing actually a mechanical thing.
Computer expertise would apply here, right?
Definitely.
And it's difficulty 3. I'll buy 1 die with momentum.
You need to buy one with 2 momentum because you already get one for free.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that then.
So you're gonna spend the last 2 momentum?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you definitely have a focus. The difficulty was 2, so you generated back 2 of your momentum. Um, yep, so you try first to make a software that will remove that. As soon as you start the software, the thing is that the virus attaches to the software. You delete the software and you're trying to manually remove the part, but by the time you finish and start doing the next software, the the virus attaches to the software that you just finished because it's really fast. It uses um the computer processing power to do it. And you're definitely not faster than a computer when it comes to typing. But it seems that if you remove that, you you are able to remove it with no problem. But as soon as you remove it, all the other software are firing up. Boom, creates another one, attaches to that software.
Basically, you have to get rid of them all at once. You're saying?
Yeah, but that
Yes.
includes the program itself, which is a bit of a problem.
Yeah, you would be able to, you wouldn't be able to create a software that removes them at the same time because that software would be already infected as soon as you like press finish on the software.
And you could delete the whole thing at the same time manually by just handling everything.
Yeah, that's the problem. You are not fast enough to delete everything manually yourself. Because as soon as you delete, you can delete the software like totally, but that would be like wiping the whole system. Because as soon as you put like the basically, let's say you delete the software that allows you to use the keyboard. As soon as you put the new software that allows you to use the keyboard, then the virus attaches to the software.
What I was saying was you get rid of all, you basically highlight the parts that aren't supposed to be there for everything, for all programs, and you get rid of it all at once.
Yeah, you can delete all the software at once. Yeah, you can do that.
But not getting that software, just like the parts that aren't supposed to be there from every software that it's affected.
Yeah, to be able to do that ship wide, you would basically need to shut the ship down and start wiping the system, like the whole system, and then putting it back on. Basically.
I don't think it's so. What I'm saying is, you highlight the parts that aren't supposed to be there for the program, for every program that's affected. You don't get the actual program. You just get rid of the parts that aren't supposed to be there for every program, and you get rid of it all at once, manually, which I
Yeah,
think you
but
could.
manually you cannot do it. You understand? This is like the computer. You are not able to type fast enough to delete everything. Like you would need like each console or like each software that you have on your ship to be deleted by one person and all of those people to do it at the same time. And when I say same time, it's a matter of nanoseconds, which like a human brain cannot do it.
Can I look into trying to create a virus to attack it?
But then you need to find a solution for the fact that this software doesn't attach to that particular virus.
Well, no, what I mean is I have a way of looking at the virus now, so I can sort of study how it works to a certain degree,
Yeah. Oh,
at
and you
least how it
wanna.
operates.
Oh, and you wanna make. Yeah, you would be able to make like. Um. You would be able to make like a virus that would attack that virus and make it like on a separate computer, and when you connect them together, that might be able to attack it. Yeah, you can do that.
Something like that. Probably like an extended task or something, but I'd like to work on it anyway, get started on working on it.
Yeah, I would say that you will be able to do it now that you have this specific computer separate from everything else. So basically, what you can do is just disconnect the tablet, work on the computer, and if you don't like what you see, you just restart the computer, connect the tablet. It's gonna get infected again. Disconnect the tablet, do whatever you want, and keep
Yeah.
on, yeah, keep on restarting that thing. Yeah, I would allow you to do that, but it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Is While Raiba is doing that, does anyone wants to do anything else? Is there Are you guys okay with taking a 5 minutes break?
That sounds good to me.
Okay, I'm gonna mute the stream. So, uh, after discussing this, we decided to end it here. So next episode, we're gonna take care of this problem, and maybe you guys can continue exploring the planet.
Cool.
So I'm gonna end the stream